The book calls this decimal parts of a meter. And we just kind of started our decimal talk there. And children, what you need to understand is decimals are so much easier to use than fractions. But decimals really only work with things that you cut into tens, hundreds, and thousands. Okay? For example, do you know we rarely ever use decimals with time? Why? Because time, when we cut hours into 60 minutes. When we cut minutes into seconds, there's 60 of them. So it's you can't just with time, you know, I can't say, if I told you how much is 3.6 hours. Does anybody know what 3.6 hours is actually in hours and minutes? No, because hours are not cut into 100 pieces. Okay, now, you would be able to tell me this because I think you understand this. If I said 3.5 hours, because you know 0.5 means half, so Frankie says 3.5 hours is
3.5 hours.
Right, which is 3 hours, 30 minutes, right? But that doesn't work. 3.6. Now, the way you can figure it out, Sam, is the same as asking. You might be able to tell me this. You could tell me that 1/10 of an hour, I don't know why my thing's not writing, 1/10 of an hour, which means 1/10 of 60 minutes. 1/10 of an hour, 1/10. If I take 60 minutes and cut it into 10 equal pieces, 1/10 of it is 6. So every tenth is 6 minutes. So if I have 6/10, that's 6 minutes. So 6/10 is how many minutes? Anybody figure that out? Victoria?
6.
Wait. Let me say it again. 1/10 is 6 minutes. So if I have 6 of those tenths, Frankie, it's?
3 hours, 36 minutes.
Right. So this is the same thing as 3 hours, 36 minutes. Now the nice thing, you don't have to write that down because we don't ever do that because it's too confusing. I mean, you don't, it's just way out of wacko. Okay? But the point I'm trying to make with all that is it's not wacko with money. Why do decimals work with money? Because we cut dollars into 100 pennies or 100 cents, and that's what decimals are good for. That's why this comes up now, because we have, and you can draw your fake little meter stick here with me. Let's pretend this is my meter stick. Do as best you can, draw it as wide as you can on your piece of paper, not a small one, but go from one end of your paper to the other end. Here is 1 meter. And that's why the metric system is so good, is because it cuts things in the tens, and we're cutting things in the 10 is just the bomb. Do people still say the bomb? Maybe it's bad anymore. Back in the day, it used to be a saying. Okay? So, now, something you probably didn't know, okay, we cut a meter. Well, this one doesn't do it very well. Yeah, it does. We cut a meter into 10 pieces. Let me see if I can do this. Here's, I got to cut that into 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's not really good. We cut a meter into 10 pieces. We don't use this very often, but does anybody know what we call that? Nope. It's not centimeters yet. Centimeters is the next one down. It is a, right?
Decameter?
That is, you're close. It's actually a decimeter. Deca means 10 of. Deci means 1/10 of. I'm going to make sure. Yeah. This is 1 decimeter. Okay. So let's see if we can put that into practice. A decimeter, 1 decimeter equals, since it's 1/10 of a meter, I can just put the decimal 0.1 meter. It is 0.1 of a meter, which is 1/10 of a meter. Now, here we go, into the fun and exciting stuff. Here's what we're most used to seeing here. I'm going to blow this up so we can see it a little bigger. If you take a decimeter and cut it into 10 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh, do we have to do that?
I don't know if you can, but you can try.
No.
Okay, so here, look, here's my meter. 1 decimeter is right here. This is the actual real live decimeter right here. If I cut that into 10 pieces, I end up with a piece that's this big. And that is what we use, a measurement we use a lot, which is a centimeter. Yeah, that's 1 centimeter. Now 1 centimeter, how many centimeters are in a meter? Centa, century, centurion. Yeah, there's 100. Okay, there are 100 centimeters in a meter. If I flip that around, 1 centimeter, 1 centimeter is what fraction? 1 centimeter is what fraction of this bad boy, Colin?
1/100.
1/100. And guess what decimal that is? I put a 1 in the hundredths place. It's like having a penny. You know, 1 centimeter to a meter is the same thing as having 1 penny to a dollar, which is, as a decimal, 0.01. That's in the hundredths place. Got that? Now, in order for you to completely astound and amaze your friends, we are going to take 1 centimeter and cut it into 10 pieces.
What? I don't think we can do that.
I
Right?
don't think you
Nope.
probably
Put it
can.
sideways. Oh, yeah, put it sideways.
Well, you could do what people do. You know what people do when they can't draw that small? They do like an exploded view of it where they draw here. Let me show you. I'll go back to the original one. If you can't draw it and it's not that small, what you can always do is this. This is how, because this is not an uncommon problem in the world. You can take like this thing and you draw a big thing like this. We call it like an exploded view. And then you make a really big one here that you can't cut into. But I can do it on mine because I've just got the big old board here. Can I go bigger?
Yeah.
Oh yes, that's as big as I can get. So here we go. I cut this into 10 pieces, which I'm not sure I can do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Somewhere there.
Oh yeah, there's 11. I'm sorry, I didn't mess up there. Or I could cut my centimeter here into 10 pieces, and each one of those is a 1 millimeter. A millimeter, if you look at this thing, is the smallest little mark on there. It's about the width of your pencil tip, not the width of your pencil. A centimeter is about the width of your pencil. This is about a centimeter wide. If you look at just the tip of it, that's about a millimeter. Actually, if you have a mechanical pencil, it's actually smaller than a millimeter. Now, to go back to what we were talking about, here, because we need to jot this down. 1 millimeter, well, there are 1,000 millimeters in 1 meter. So if I flip that around and I say 1 millimeter, 1 millimeter is what part of the meter. 1 millimeter is what part of a meter? There's 1,000 millimeters in 1 meter. 1 millimeter is, Addison, right, it's 1/1000th of it, which is as a decimal point 0.001. Like that. 0.001, because this is a 1 in the thousands place. Now, let's put all that together and just think about this just for one small second. If you have this, if you have 2.326 meters, what really does that mean? Well, that means you have 2 of these, because that's 2 meters, right? This 3 means you have 3 what?
Millimeters.
No, not millimeters. That's not millimeters. This, the tenth of a thing, is a decimeter. So you have 2 full meters, which means you'd have 2 of these. Here, I'm going to do it right here. Watch this. This is a miracle of the chalkboard because it's bigger. Here is 1. Boom. That right there is the 2 millimeters part, or 2 meters part. To that, I have to add 3 decimeters, which is this little chunk that's like this. So I have to add 3 more decimeters. 1 decimeter, 2 decimeters, 3 decimeters, decimeter, decimeter, decimeter. These were the meters. To that, I have to add 2 what?
Centimeters.
That's in the hundreds place, so it's centimeters. So here is 1, 2, these are both my centimeters. And then to that I have to add 6, which is going to be really hard for me to draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that.
Perfect.
So this would be the length of the line from here to here. That is 2.326 meters long. You kind of get that? And if by some chance we had another number over here, could you imagine how small this number would be if I had 5 over there?
Can you even do that?
I couldn't, but I'm sure when we get down to microscopic things, you'd have to have a microscope to see it. Now, what kind of things are they going to ask us? Here's, write down some of these problems here. 40 centimeters is how many decimeters? Oh, where'd my thing go? 40 centimeters. 40 centimeters is how many decimeters? And to that you'd have to think about the meter stick. Okay, how many centimeters make up 1 decimeter? Right here, look at my toes here. How many centimeters make up 1? Okay, Clark? No. Well, no. How many centimeters, maybe we should write this down. 1 decimeter equals, here's my decimeter. See it from here to here? How many centimeters is that? 10. So 1 decimeter equals 10 centimeters. So if you have 40 centimeters, 10, 20, 30, 40, how many decimeters is that, Ellen? 4. So you kind of have to think in terms of the ruler there. You got to make sure you're not going back and forth one thing. Or it says Eduardo measured his height and he got 1 meter plus 35 centimeters. 1 meter plus 35 centimeters. And they're going to ask you to write that in meters. Here's where things get a little... In meters, think about this. You've got 1 meter, we know that. And the rest has to be in decimal form. 35 centimeters, how would you write that as a decimal? Now think about it. I'll give it to you on the ruler. Here is 35 centimeters. How would you write that as a decimal? Very tough. Colton? first of all, maybe it would be important to think about how many, 35 centimeters is actually how many decimeters? How many total decimeters can you get out of 35 centimeters, Tyler?
3.
3. So you know it's going to be 3 decimeters. And then I still have what left over here, Victoria?
5.
Yeah.
So
1.35. Okay, 1.35, because this is 30 centimeters, and this is 5 more centimeters. 30 centimeters is the same as 3 decimeters. Wow, that is sure exciting, isn't it? What else?
Awesome. Meters is awesome.
Yeah, I think that'll probably get you close to whatever it is. We don't use decimeters very often. Usually it's centimeters. And by the way, if you went to Europe or other countries, your height, they measure in centimeters.
Wow.
They don't do meters. They just measure you in centimeters. For example, Addison, stand up. Addison would be, if she was over in England, she would be 146 centimeters tall. That's how they measure you.
I wonder how tall.
Now, you could change that into meters. 146 centimeters is written in meters would be what? How about that?
No.
All you gotta do is put the decimal in the right place. The numbers are the nice thing about the metric system. Only thing that changes when you move measurements in the metric system is decimals, or our decimals. What do you think there, Trevor?
1.46.
Right. Because she'd be 1 meter tall, plus 4 decimeters, plus 6 centimeters. And that's just the whole kit and caboodle.